How is everyone doing today? Super excited to show you all another pepper. Usually we about this time of year in August, getting a little bit later in August, we have more peppers that we have shown than tomatoes, but this year the tomatoes are showing up really well for us a little bit early, and then also we're trying to make sure that when we show the peppers, we're trying to compare a lot of them can really have a difference in flavor, or a lot of different things can be seen on showing them ripe and underripe side by side. But this is one that we were really excited about. A couple seasons ago, we had grown it for the first time from Baker's Creek seeds. It's called the lemon spice jalapeno. Last year, and then the next year, I think we grew it and we did pretty decent. And then I'm not sure if we had it 2 years before, but last year we grew it. We were super excited for it. I think it was only our second year last year, actually. Anyways, we grew it again, and when we grew it again, it ended up crossed with a courbaki, which created this pepper right here, which we're calling the 2020 cross, which is a really cool pepper. But this is a cross between a lemon spice and a courbaki. So part of our plants, you wouldn't believe the problems we have with cameras over here. Anyhow, this is a cross between a lemon spice jalapeno and a courbaki. But this is the lemon spice jalapeno here. What we did is in the white buckets, or in the blue bucket here, was seeds that we knew were true from type. They were from the original seeds that were a couple years old that we had gotten from Baker's Creek. We wanted to make sure we got this one in our yard because it is Angel and my absolute favorite jalapeno. It's one of our favorite peppers regardless of type of pepper as well. It has a really good flavor. So this one right here came from the original seeds that we were sure were true to type, and I believe this one right here in the white bucket was from seeds from our last year grow. Our last year grow was really disappointing. Two of the plants were the cross, like I was mentioning earlier. Two of the plants were true to type, but they were relayed out at the last second. Really just kind of wasn't a good grow for us. So we only got a few of these last year. As you can see, if we get these couple ripe ones off, there's another here, here. There's one behind it. There's one down here. There's one starting up here. So this is another one that may be a little bit better to do in a single, in a 5-gallon bucket if you were to single grow this plant. I think the plant would become a lot fuller. We do top and selectively manicure our plants down in order to get light saturation and, you know, make them look better. But this one right here, one here, here. So super productive, whether it came from our saves or whether it came from the originals. But we're super excited to have so many of these. I think if I get a couple of these off, we might have about 40 days left in our season. 40 to 60 days left in our season, depending on how deep we can go into October before our first freeze. But this is a plant, a lot of jalapenos are known as constant producers, I think it's called. That means even in the cold season, if we run a plant indoors for overwintering, what ends up happening is it still senses its winter, or it still has to go through the process of winter. So you might bring a pepper plant indoors and not understand why it's not still producing or carrying through the season, but it needs a downtime or a rest time. A lot of the jalapeno types are constant producers, so you could take them indoors as an indoor plant and it would still continue to go. So this is producing quite a few for us. It should have a lot more. None of our plants this year or any other year are really indicative of a serious, really good grow. We're just a small family trying to show some of the unique stuff that we grow in our yard, and this one's doing pretty good for us. I think if we would have got some of these, a couple more, we did take several peppers off of this already to start sparking the second wave of growth, which is usually better than the first. But then we get a little bit greedy and we start trying to save the best pods to ripen all the way, and so that's why it's taking a little longer. But I'll take this one off right here. We're going to save seeds on a couple of these. I'll take one off of this plant over here. There's 2 plants in each one of these 5-gallon buckets. I think that you could produce twice as tall plant and one plant with just as much production in the same bucket. A lot of times peppers are all right with holding hands, but some of the peppers this year have kind of been an eye-opener to us. They really need more root space as well. So they can get root locked by having them in the cups too long and not getting the roots out, which was a little bit of our issue. But some of our issue too with some of the bigger peppers, as is doubled up like this in these 5-gallon buckets, they really like to reach out a little bit more the wider the pepper is. So the long peppers did better for us, but I think these might have done just as well. I wouldn't say that the jalapeno would necessarily do better, but just as well. But this is the lemon spice jalapeno, originally from Baker Creek Seeds. This one is from the original seeds. This one is from our seeds on our save last year that was pretty rough. So we'll take these in and we'll look at them a little closer. One of me and Angel's very favorite pepper. Love you guys. You know what, I'm going to take this one too. We're going to grab this one. It just started ripening, but I think it's plenty ripe to save seeds on. It's probably the best pod. So we'll take that one in too. We'll save seeds on it. If you're wondering if your seeds are viable, the best way to save pepper seeds is to make sure that the pepper is ripened on the vine. That's the best way. If you don't get it ripened on the vine, leave it on the counter a little bit. Try to let those seeds finish out. There is almost a point where it could be too far, like the pepper has almost been sitting on the vine too long and it's starting to kind of rot, or the seeds inside might not be going as well as planned. But this is plenty good for saving seeds. If you ever have any question, if you toss them in a glass of water, the seeds right when you're pulling them out of the plant, leave them there for about 5 minutes. Make sure they're not resting on the top of the water like a raft. Maybe tap them down into the water. About 5 minutes later, you should notice that they're sinking. If they're sinking, they're viable. If they're still floating after 5, maybe 10 minutes, just make sure they're not floating on that top though, because you can toss a bunch of pepper seeds in a glass of water. They'll sit there and float like a raft on top. If you don't tap them underneath a little bit, they're still viable. They just aren't sinking because they're floating on that top level. But it's a good way to test seeds. But I really wanted to grab one more. This is one of our favorite peppers. We're super excited to try some of it out. We might put some of this into some salsa. We're not quite sure, but we'll save the seeds from this one and those other 2 good looking pods, and then hopefully get more. But we can use a bunch of these for our pickling, for our salsas, for all sorts of things. Take this one in and give it a try. Love you guys. Alright everyone, I love this pepper. I'm just not in love with it. So Angel is going to give it a try. This time she has no problem with that. She's better with the heat than I am actually, but both of us are pretty big wimps on heat. We judge heat based on 2 different things. Thunder and lightning. Both types are in all types of peppers, but to us the thunder is a lingering heat. Some types of heat, when we eat, like say this jalapeno right here, we like the milder jalapenos. The yellow and orange and lighter colors tend to be a little bit lighter on the heat, and we look for varieties too, like for instance the Jedi jalapeno is a low heat jalapeno because there's a certain kind of heat in a jalapeno. Even though they're judged at around 3,000 to maybe 15,000 Scoville units from mild to hot jalapeno, it's kind of a subjective heat. The heat that is in this is way worse than to me. When I had the black cobra pepper the other day, it's judged to be 20 to 40,000, 5,000 Scoville units over the hottest jalapeno, all the way up to double that amount. So, and it is a firecracker or a lightning heat. So when I ate that pepper, I did get a super burn. It was hotter than this one would be, but the heat didn't last very long. It was just like a lightning strike. It hit, it burnt, it was kind of rough for a second, and then that heat went away. And that's what we judge lightning heat on. So the Scoville units, when we talk about peppers and their heat levels in the Scoville units, it's a really subjective heat. The jalapeno heat scares us because it's a thunder heat. It's a kind of heat that kind of kicks on and it gets really hot for us, but it's really tough to get away from. It's really a pungent, lingering kind of rolling thunder heat. That's why we call it the thunder version. So we got our orange juice, we got some milk. We got way more milk than that ready, but like that's just a sip. We've relied on the orange juice a little bit more. We've started using honey this year. So we got these. If you get your honey sticks with these little wrappers on and you're using them for peppers, take those little wrappers off before you get started. That is probably going to save you a lot of time and a headache. But this is the lemon spice jalapeno. Originally from Breakers Creek Seeds. I also want to mention, I am completely unsure if this is just a yellow jalapeno. I don't know if you were to go online and look up yellow jalapeno, which you can find seeds for lots of different places, if this is what you're getting. This one is specifically labeled the lemon spice jalapeno, and so in my mind it may be a different kind. Like for instance, there's a tomato called the pineapple tomato. There's a Mr. Stripey pineapple, which is really common, and then there's a Hawaiian pineapple version. It's called a Hawaiian pineapple tomato, and out of those two, they're two different, very different varieties, if you know what you're looking for. So I'm not sure if this is different than a yellow jalapeno or not, but it's originally came from lemon spice jalapeno.
So it does have some pretty thick walls, kind of like a regular jalapeno. It does smell like a jalapeno right now. I won't be eating seeds or placenta, so I'm going to take a piece off the end here.
Is it hot?
It is spicy, but it's not like that piece wasn't terribly spicy, and it's probably because I got the end. But it's very sweet, almost like a citrusy flavor. Very sweet. Let me try another one. That bite was spicier, but this isn't a very spicy pepper. It's spicy, but not bad.
Coming from us, if anybody knows us, it is lingering some. That jalapeno heat being scary to us, we're looking for mild. And if Angel's able to eat a couple pieces of this and still go, she hasn't grabbed orange juice or milk yet. It probably seems like we're eating a Reaper or something the way we talk about this, huh?
Mm-hmm. It has a good mild spice, but it is very sweet, like a citrusy sweet. It's a little hotter the more up you go, so yeah, my mouth is starting to burn now. And it is definitely that jalapeno linger spice. But overall, it's a really good pepper. I like it. I like the flavor. It's got a fruity flavor to it. So I like that. I like peppers that have a fruity flavor and some spice to them. For some reason, I just really like those kinds of peppers, and this is one of them. It's my favorite kind of jalapeno. But it also does have that jalapeno taste to it.
Here, I'll cut this other one up a little bit. I'm really interested. The walls were super thick on that one. Yeah, that's a really kind of a thick wall.
Yeah.
That's nice. We got a couple tomatoes ready and a couple tomatoes from the market. I think what we'll do is we'll probably dice this one up in little pieces and mix it with those tomatoes and make like a quick salsa. Maybe throw a couple other minor things in so the pepper don't go to waste, but definitely super excited to save these seeds. There's not a lot of seeds in this. I mean, they're bigger seeds, but compared to some peppers, it really doesn't feel like a lot because I want to save a ton of these, but we're going to have a few more pods to get as many as we need or want.
Yep. Super yummy pepper. I like it. I haven't had to take anything to drink, so it's very mild in the spice area.
I'll try it. Here we go. I'm not scared. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I need a little orange juice though.
He got the top end of it. It is really good. It's got a good fruity flavor.
No, it's not too bad. Even if you can't handle heat, this one might not be bad at all, especially once you cook it into a food or mix it with some other stuff. You're not really going to get that heat like eating it raw like that. That's a really mild jalapeno. It's got a really sweet, which I don't associate, the kind of sweet I don't associate with jalapenos necessarily. But my brain keeps going to like a buttered, spicy carrot flavor. It almost tastes buttery sweet.
I
That
dig
is an excellent, excellent pepper though. And I did take a tiny sip of orange juice, but it's already kind of, I can feel the linger, it's still there, but it's so mild. This has got to be probably around 5,000 Scoville units, I would say. This is really low on the jalapeno scale. And I'm not quite sure. Everything that we say is completely opinion in this moment right now. When we do these videos, it's like looking in to our life for just that brief moment to see this. What you're seeing is really just a small window. Tons of people grow this pepper way better. Tons of people have really good opinions. If you're here to look at a super technical, for sure, guarantee fact, professional kind of video, you probably came to the wrong spot. We just like sitting down with these. A lot of times our friends and family watch these videos, and so we're kind of sharing our personal experience with them in like a home video format, and at the same time just kind of hanging out with everybody. So we like everybody hanging out with us and everything else like that, but we don't want anybody to think that we're some sort of professionals that 100% know. We like the idea of always learning. So we're sitting here learning with you as we look at this for the first time. Our grows are almost never as good as they could be. We cluster garden, we do all these different things, but I just want to make everybody ourselves perfectly clear on the fact that this is just our personal opinion. We'll try to do these videos and relay as much random info as we can and let that fall out, but anybody who knows us knows that we know pretty good about peppers. This is an excellent, excellent grow for us this year. From our saved seeds, from the original seeds. The flavor is exactly to remember. I don't need the orange juice.
Yeah, it's really yummy.
I could snack on that pepper, and I am scared of jalapenos, so.
So this is the lemon spice jalapeno. UT thinks it has like a buttery, spicy carrot flavor. I think it has more of a fruity, spicy flavor. So there you go, the lemon spice jalapeno.
Alright, so we've been trying to keep our videos to around 10 minutes, and I'm pretty sure that this one's going to land at around 15 to 20 at this point. I kept thinking that if we kept doing these pepper videos and the more and more that came out, eventually I'd have enough random babble come out that I would have babbled all the ramble out, but you know what I mean? Every video that comes out, there seems to be like 15 things that I want to chat about as we're doing it. We try to do our videos as like almost like one takes. We're not really planning what we're saying. We're just calling out the date, doing it for our little vlog, and sitting down and trying to show everybody firsthand what we're seeing. The lemon spice jalapeno, highly productive plant. Excellent, excellent, excellent flavor. Our very favorite, hands down, jalapeno, and probably in Angel's top 3 favorite peppers of all, and my top 5 favorite peppers of all, whether they're sweet or hot, I would say. But I would highly recommend everybody kind of take a look at this. Not sure how many seeds we're going to be able to save. There was 3 pods so far, but most of our garden ends up being just enough for us to use. We share a lot of our plants and seeds with other people, so that we've seen quite a few of these at our local farm market as well, and we've pulled some off green and utilized them green. But let them ripe all the way. If you grow this plant, let these ripen all the way to yellow, maybe even a little bit over, so they start oranging out a little bit. That's when the flavor kicks up really, really high. They are super sweet. I wouldn't compare it to the sweet fruitiness of necessarily an ahi type, but they're very, very good. So I don't want to waste any more time, and just tell everybody it's a great pepper. We love you guys. It's the lemon spice jalapeno, and it is August 22nd of 2021. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.